creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is part of the Australia Day Cybercrop that's happening right now. That's being presented by Kitaholic Kits. So the lovely Steph invited me to join in with their design team and some other amazing creatives to help get you inspired this Australia Day. So for my page today, I am going to be playing along with the Grab 5 challenge. I'll leave all the details in the description box below and the link to the Facebook group so you can get all that information there. So first things first, I'm going to pull out all of the elements I need for the Grab 5, the first of which is textured layers. So for that I'm using this vellum piece here and maybe the paper doilies. The next element is gold, so that is actually also those. As well though, I've pulled these gold photo corners. The third element, yes, is a stencil. So for anyone who knows me, this was the trickiest part of this challenge, but I have gone ahead and used this one from Kaisercraft. Number 4 are stickers, so super easy. I've just pulled them from the collection that I'm using. And number 5 is enamel dots. So these have actually come from deep in my stash, so this one is going to be a little bit of a stash bust as well. Now this is the photo that I'll be using, and I have gone ahead and made a bit of a plan for the page. I'm also going to be using this cut file from Cut to You, and it is called Book Lover. I'll leave a link to that below as well. And oh yes, I forgot to mention I'm using crepe paper fresh bouquet. So I did do an unboxing video when I first received this collection, when I first purchased it. So if you're looking for an in-depth look into the elements of this collection, I will leave a link to that here for you. Okay, so if you've known me for more than 5 minutes, you might know that I am generally not a big fan of mixed media. I don't use it a lot on my pages, and that's because I'm a bit of a control freak. And I like to control things like watercolor paint, which, you know, there's an element of letting go in that kind of creating, and yeah, so I really struggle with that. But anyway, in the spirit of the challenge, I made sure that I was going to be using my stencil, and I'm doing it in my way. So I'm going to use it as a layer in my background, and I'm just pushing through it some whipped spackle by Faber-Castell. I have had this in my stash forever, and it's a bit dry, but it still works. So I've actually had a couple of jars of this stuff. I love it because it's very white. So when you're putting it over the top of white cardstock, it looks very white and it dries super fast and it's not very messy. So it's all things Gwen, really. Yeah, oh, and did I say the stencil is called Quilted, and it's from Kaisercraft. It's one of the 6x6 stencils. So yeah, all I'm doing here is pushing that through, and so you can see it's super subtle, very delicate texture that I'm adding to the background, and that's going to be me getting a tick in the box for stencil. Now I'm sure you're wondering why I have my T-square ruler out here, and that's because the stencil is a geometric design. You'll also note that in my background, on my background paper there, I have stripes. So yes, I am being particular, but if it's out, I will notice really easily because of those elements, because we're looking at nice vertical stripes, not vertical stripes, horizontal stripes, and the grid pattern in the stencil. So there we go, that's them. So I don't actually need to wait very long for that to dry at all. The whipped spackle almost dries in a minute, so I do like that about it. And I have gone ahead and positioned or made a plan for the position of my cut file pieces. So I have the 2 books going to be going somewhere there, and the title will run down the right hand side of the page. So now that I have my background all sorted, I've got a plan for my large elements being the cut file title, my photo and those books. The next thing I'm thinking about is the textured layers. Because I was using the doily, I didn't want to leave it too late in the plan for the page to include that. So I'm going to end up with two small pieces of doily, so one on the left there under the photo, and then this other one I'm going to tuck under the books there. And yeah, I do cover up a little bit more of the stencil than I had originally planned, but you can still see it poking through all the layers there, and it's still, you can still see it, and it's still a really nice touch to the page. I'm also going to start thinking about what stickers I want to include. For me, that's not going to be that big of a challenge to add some kind of sticker elements, but I just feel like if I can get a plan for where my embellishment clusters are going to be, I'll know what stickers I can and can't include. You'll see there too on the right that I've got a little post-it note with the 5 elements that need to be included in the Grab 5. I will often write myself little notes like this when I'm doing these kind of challenges so that I know that I am including all 5 and I don't get to the end of the page and go, oh, I've forgotten stencil, or yeah, because at that point, if I finished a page and there wasn't a stencil on there, I would definitely have to just start again. So yeah, that's my hot tip for working with challenges and making sure that you get all of the elements that you need to on your layout. This is actually the very first page that I've made with this collection. So I am taking the time to go through all of the elements and really see what's available, what my choices are in terms of size, and mainly colour. I am looking at what the elements say, but there are a lot of quite generic pieces, things that just say like happy together, I love your heart, remember this. So they're all pretty, they could go on any page really. So because of that, I'm really choosing elements that will help me balance out the colour tones that I'm working with for this layout. I'm also working with the bigger elements first. So it's always easier to get a larger die cut piece or a larger chipboard piece on your page early in the design. So I really want to use that cute little birdie, and I was pretty keen to get this camera on the page as well. And both of those are pretty large, so I do lock them in pretty early on in yeah, the process. So I'm just mixing and matching all of the elements. I know I want to include a bow because I'm all about them bows, and this collection has a few. So this one does end up, that little cute brown one does end up on the page. This little round element gets auditioned in so many places and it doesn't end up making the cut. It's just the wrong shape for, yeah, I couldn't find anywhere for it, so it doesn't stay. I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this part of the process, in that I do love playing with all the little elements and auditioning all the things, but then I also can get quite frustrated when I can't find the perfect spot for things straight away, and sometimes I do need to just stop and go away, maybe cook dinner, do some house things, and then come back to it with fresh eyes and a bit of a fresh perspective before I can move on. And it's funny, you don't see it in the videos, but that kind of happens in most of my pages. There's a point, I guess, where I push and push and push and shuffle and work, and then it just gets to a point where I have to just take a breath and stop and walk away. So yeah, but it's lost in the video editing. Yeah, but I did want to mention that because I do sometimes look at other people's work and go, oh, how come they're able to place their elements so quickly, or you know, decide on their plan for the page so quickly. Sometimes that is the case, and some creatives do definitely work like that. But in a lot of cases, I'm finding as I share my process with people is that a lot of other people are like me, and that pages just take time. So lots and lots of auditioning happening. and really just mixing and matching elements with their color and their shape and size. I don't really go with the visual triangle on this one. I think because the title was so long and quite bold, so I just went with the embellishment cluster in the top right, and then the cute little birdie near my photo, and then a few elements to balance out the page at the bottom. I did too also try and add a few more elements to the left there, but I didn't really have enough space, and I was super keen not to cover up the book or the title of the book. I really wanted that to be part of my story, so I did end up leaving it on the left there quite clean. So yep, gluing everything down either with foam, tape adhesive, or a liquid adhesive. I am back to the Scotch Quick Dry. I am mixing and matching that between that and the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. But yeah, happy with how all that's working out, and adding the final touches now. As always, I will leave you with some close-up images right at the end of the video, and I do hope you get the chance to check out all of the other creatives' inspiration. There really are some amazing scrapbookers who are joining in, so be sure to check the links below for all those details. If you like the way that I scrapbook, or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, be sure to give me a thumbs up, or if you're new, I would love it if you subscribed. It does help you to see more videos just like this one. And until next time, bye!